Have you ever struggled with getting started because you don't feel ready or you're afraid to mess up? I battle with that in my mind. I could spend hours researching, studying, preparing, planning, and then when the moment comes, I have a brain fart because I get nervous. What if I mess up? What if I don't feel ready? I think for me, it's because I want the best. I want to do the best for my family. Many times I put all my eggs in one basket because I want that one thing to work or succeed. I can put all my attention into this one thing. And even then, when it's time to do the thing, I freeze. But I want to strive to not do that anymore. I want to choose to give each day my very best because living a life short of that isn't really living. I love what Benjamin Franklin said. Most people die at the age of 25 and aren't buried until they're 75. And when you think about it, it's so sad. I'm 29 years old right now, and I don't want to just go with the flow for the next, let's say, 50 years and not look up, because I want to be able to look back and see that I gave it everything. And even if I make a mistake or fail at whatever it may be, I was listening to a podcast where this daughter was interviewing her dad, who had been a therapist for 40 years. And he talked about how to use the bad things that happen in your life. And for many people, there's some really evil stuff that has happened. How do we use the bad that has happened in our life for good? And he made a disclaimer saying that wrong is always wrong because a lot of people have been through some evil stuff. And so wrong is always wrong. But if we give into the mindset of I've been wronged, and you carry that for the rest of your life and you never learn from it, then really you're missing out. Because when something bad happens, a mistake, or you've been wronged, he said that if we choose to learn from it and turn it into wisdom, then we have taken something that we've been through, whether it be a mistake or something bad that has truly happened, and we go, okay, wrong is always wrong, but now I know, whatever it may be, now I know this, and I can avoid XYZ. So if we take whatever situation, if I take whatever situation I've gone through, whatever situation I've made a mistake in, and choose to go, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I use and turn into wisdom? Wrong is always wrong, but now I know way more than I did in that area. I thought that was a good nugget of wisdom. By the end of this video, I want you to feel encouraged that you won't let the negativity of this world stop you. And our answers begin and end with a blackberry bush. Okay, a little story time. About 2 years ago, my dad gave me maybe 4 or 5 blackberry vines. My beautiful wife, Meg, and I had moved into a new home with our son. Our daughter had not been born yet. And we wanted to start a little garden, so my dad gave us a few of the vines he had been growing. A year and a half later, maybe about 1 to 2 of those vines stayed alive. And really, the harvest that we had between those 4 was 1 good blackberry. That was it. About 2 months ago, our kids were spending the night with their grandparents, and my wife and I decided we're going to do some yard work. Funny thing was, we spent a long time at Lowe's, and by the time we got home, it was late. And we didn't finish till like 9 or 10 o'clock. So people probably thought we were funny out there with we had pulled up Meg's car and turned the headlights on, and so that we could see. During that time, I decided to relocate that 1 blackberry vine to a new spot. Literally within, I guess, a week or 2, you could see the difference. The blackberries started to become green again and grow. It was cool to see the power of good soil. And so, I decided to build me a little DIY watering system. We love to drink Milo's sweet tea, so I took an empty gallon jug, cut the bottom off, flipped it over, had attached it to a pole, put the top on, poked a hole in it, and filled it up with water, and that way it would have like a little dripping system. So fast forward, my dad ended up giving me 13 more blackberry vines, and I loaded them into the back of my truck. We drove home, and they stayed there for probably about 2 days. And one afternoon, we decided to go and start tilling the ground of where we decided to plant these blackberry vines. While we were prepping the ground, I realized that if I don't if I don't get these vines, these roots in the ground, they're gonna die. Which led me to think all I have to do, Tucker, all you gotta do, Tucker, is just plant them. Like you already have the idea, like you already have them ready. All you have to do is stick them in the ground. These 13 blackberry vines had already been growing for about 1.5 to 2 years. And now that we're about to replant them, all I have to do is just put them in the ground. But if I don't plant them, they'll die. And that reminds me that if I don't feel ready or I'm scared that I'm gonna make a mistake, the least I have to do is put the blackberry vines in the ground. So I can't promise that you might not feel that way again. But what I can assure you of, most definitely, is that if you take the time to prepare and study and get yourself ready, you can push through your feelings, because then you're relying on knowledge and understanding. Like you might get nervous and feel, what if I don't know enough? But if you just sit there and think, okay, here's what I do know, what will work and how to do it, that brings peace to me. Because the scriptures tell us that knowledge and understanding are the two most powerful tools. So however you're feeling, you can most definitely bank on the knowledge and understanding that you have up here. And for the second question, what if you feel like making a mistake? The truth is, we're probably going to, and that's okay. How many people who are truly successful today, who have built the coolest inventions, who have had the most brilliant ideas, did it without making any mistakes? Nobody. Every single person, everyone has made a mistake. And bringing everyone down to the same level of going, like my grandfather would say, everybody puts their pants on in the morning, one leg at a time. Everybody makes mistakes. But like I mentioned earlier, what I've learned from that podcast of that seasoned therapist is what we do with our mistakes. It's what we do with our mistakes. It's what we do with the bad things that have happened in our life, or the good things. What wisdom can we pull from that to help us so that we can build something new off of it, to where we can build a better plan, a wiser plan, a better way, a smarter way of doing something? The scripture says, whoever works his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless pursuits lacks sense. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance, but everyone who is hasty comes only to poverty. And I mentioned this one in a few videos back, but prepare your work outside, get everything ready for yourself in the field, and after that, build your house. That's it. Just get it going. And when I thought about that, it brought a simple clarity to me. It brought a peace of, all you got to do, Tucker. It's like, hey, there's a lot of work that goes into gardening, but all you need to do right now is get it started.